We will put on a concert. Oh, yes. We will put on a concert.
Extreme heat, shortage of supplies, overcrowding, and aggressive music doesn't exactly make for 3 days of peace and love. Instead, riots, sexual assault, even deaths come to mind when Woodstock 99 is brought up. But for all the problems and all the causes of the problems that eventually led to the failure of the music festival, the finger tends to get pointed towards one band, Limp Bizkit. It's easy to blame Fred Durst and co., but one thing people tend to forget is that it's also convenient.
It's just one of those days!
Woodstock 99! We're in Rome, New York, not far from the original Woodstock site, but of course, things are a little different in 1999 than they were in 1969.
If the Woodstock Festival of 1969 reflected the culture at the time, peace, love, and hippie idealism, while the anniversary festival 30 years later was doomed from the start. It was 8:05 p.m. on Saturday, July 24th, 1999. Nu metal kings Limp Bizkit hit the stage in front of more than 200,000 people, drenched in sweat from the extreme heat, drunk and dehydrated, and angry at the overpriced water and food. Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst comes out and does what he does best. He stirs the crowd into a frenzy as they play their blend of hip-hop and metal hits.
We walked on stage, and it was that wave of people bouncing as far as you could see. Hundreds of thousands of people, and it was the most amazing adrenaline-pumping moment that I've ever experienced.
Limp Bizkit had just released their second album, Significant Other, a month prior, and it was still '1 on the charts, led by the single Nookie. Nu metal was dominating the counterculture at the time, and Woodstock 99 promoter John Scher, along with original Woodstock 69 organizer Michael Lang, just marketed the festival to what was popular. But nu metal also came hand in hand with aggression, raised middle fingers, and show your tits chants.
Take your Birkenstocks and stick them up your fucking ass!
From Limp Bizkit's perspective, this was one of the best shows of their careers. The crowd was going insane and responding to every one of Fred's calls to
Get the fuck up!
What they didn't see was that the organizers and security were slowly losing control. Mob mentality was creeping in. The popular notion of when Woodstock 99 turned ugly was when Limp Bizkit performed Break Stuff.
How many people here ever woke up one morning and just decided it wasn't one of those days and you're gonna break some shit?
Promoter John Scher blames Fred for not calming the crowd, instead inciting kids to further rip scaffolding down to surf on top of the crowd.
That's some tight shit right there, that crowd surfing on the plywood.
But from the stage, it was hard to separate the forest from the trees, with the craziness going as far as sexual assaults being reported in the mosh pits.
I don't think they understood that I meant, okay, let's get rid of all that negativity. That means start jumping and singing. It doesn't mean start raping and burning the place down.
Look, Fred sure didn't help himself. It's easy to demonize him, but it's reductive. As Korn's Jonathan Davis later said, Fred Durst was just being Fred Durst, doing what he was hired to do. Limp Bizkit and Korn and Kid Rock were merely a symptom of rock culture at the time. What people forget about Woodstock 99 is that the worst of the rioting, looting, and assaults didn't even happen the same day Limp Bizkit performed. They occurred the day after.
And then to watch the news reports of the mashup of our day and the next day where the fires were, and cutting that into our set, they were just like, let's make this worse.
They found an opportunity to point a finger.
The fact was, Woodstock 99 was plagued by a series of oversights by the organizers, and the extreme summer heat only added fuel to the fire. People saw through the greed of the high ticket costs and overcharging for things like water bottles. Meanwhile, water fountains barely worked, and those that did were guarded by mud people, an aggressive group that slathered themselves in the brown stuff, which may not have only been mud, as there were problems with the toilets as well.
You know, they brought us there. They know what we do, you know, the promoters. And when you put that many people together, it's just going to be amplified. And I thought it was a great experience until we get off stage and we're told that, you know, we've got to get you out of here. The place is going to a riot.
What resulted was that a music festival became a social experiment like it was right out of Lord of the Flies. Reports vary on the number of rapes from 4 to 8, but likely the reality is much higher than that. 44 people were arrested, 3 people died. Riot police had to be called in on Sunday night after hours of looting, vandalism, and mass fires escalated everything. Woodstock 99 made Limp Bizkit go from the bad boys of TRL to villains in the mainstream media. For the narrative, it was convenient. The festival ruined the mythic brand of the peaceful Woodstock gathering of the 60s. What people forget is that the romantic notion of the peaceful original Woodstock isn't completely accurate. 2 people died, bands were going on at 5 in the morning, vendors were looted, and they barely avoided mass electrocution with rain pouring down on the electrical equipment. I guess Woodstock 99 is proof of the danger in marketing a fairy tale. To this day, John Scher lays the blame on the bands, especially Limp Bizkit. It let the organizers off the hook, but maybe they should have seen the issues in trying to put a dollar sign next to the romanticism of the old festival. Sometimes people don't want the truth, they just want a scapegoat.
So come and get it!